shortly we're expecting the live pictures to come in. The US Vice President J.D. Vance is all set to begin with his India visit as he and his family descend in the national capital. J.D. Vance and his family are expected to land at the Palam airport at around 10 a.m. where senior ministers of the Modi government will be receiving them. Now remember, this visit also comes at a time when there is global concerns over Trump's retaliatory tariffs, which has been paused for 90 days for nations to negotiate a new deal. Now for both nations, this visit could be crucial as India and the United States are actively negotiating a trade deal, and India certainly would want a favorable terms for its exports. Both the nations have also set themselves to an objective to double trade between the two nations to $500 billion by the year 2030. Now, the two nations will also be keen on countering China's growing influence in the Indo-Pacific, but India would also naturally want to discuss and better understand Trump government's stand on the H-1B visas and the joint efforts to counter illegal immigration into the United States of America. This is also the first major meeting between the two leaders and the government since the successful edition that happened of the Havarana, the 2611 plotter and mastermind. Let's get in a word from Srinjoy now. We'll be also getting our experts on board because, Srinjoy, this is an important visit. How important are we looking at as far as the agenda sitting visit is also being called at as far as J.D. Vance is concerned? Of course, the family is also coming along, but what exactly will be the discussions likely to be taken up between the two sides?
Any visit by the Vice President of America is important, and particularly at this time when this tariff issue, the trade issue, both issues are so crucial because the future of Indo-American trade, the future of Indo-American economic ties really depends on this trade deal. Now both America and India are working towards it. We don't know where it is now and how it will all work out. But let's hope that it benefits both countries. And let's hope the visit and the meeting with the Prime Minister later in the evening, followed by dinner, actually helps in sorting things out. Maybe there will be kind of reassurance from the Vice President saying, yes, we are looking at your case very seriously. We are hopeful of coming up with a proper answer. So that's really one aspect. Besides that, you spoke about
as well as diplomatic engagement because he'll be landing here at about 10 a.m. and after that immediately he'll be coming to Akshardham Temple where he'll be paying obeisance. From here he'll be going to Cottage Emporium where they will do shopping, and then he's also going to the US Embassy where he will be meeting embassy staff, and after that in the evening there is going to be a meeting with Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and during that meeting they are going to discuss about several issues that followed by the dinner. So it's going to be really very important because one, if he has got the wife of the Indian origin, because it's like homecoming for the second lady, and this is the first visit after 12 years of any Vice President of the United States of America. Last time it was Joe Biden who came out to this place in 2013. He had been to Delhi, he had been to Mumbai, he had addressed that time in the stock exchange. But this time J.D. Vance is going to address in the International Center in Rajasthan where he's going to talk about the policy statement, and that is going to draw a roadmap for both India and United States of America in the coming years. So because already as Srinjoy was talking about that there are four deals that they will be talking about. One is the trade.
Yes, we will be going through all of them one by one there. Pradeep, will let you go because the pictures are expected to come in shortly and we want to be on standby for that. Mr. Sajjanhar is also connected with us. Sir, good to have you with us on the show.
Thank you.
Mr. Ray Locker, beginning with you, because the four T's that we have been talking about, in fact, what Srinjoy had pointed out is trade, tariff, there is also a lot of trust, there is termination, and there is terrorism as well. So we can count it as 5. But mainly what is going around the world, India in particular, that was hit with 26% tariffs by Donald Trump on 2nd of April, despite his good relations with the Prime Minister of India. However, there is a 90-day pause. It's temporary relief, but New Delhi, however, continues to remain very wary and cautious. Now, White House, which has described this current visit as focused on shared economic and geopolitical priorities, what do you have to say on while J.D. Vance's stay would be also an opportunity for both sides to review progress in bilateral relations?
Well, I think anytime you have a vice president of the United States visit any country, much less a country as powerful as India, it's an important thing. I wouldn't be very optimistic about it, however, because we've seen this president turn on a dime repeatedly about any kind of economic issue. And really, in the 90 days he's been president, Trump doesn't seem to pay a whole lot of attention to Vice President Vance. So he's not somebody whose counsel he takes. And so I don't think that if he came and reached some kind of agreement or tentative deal, that Trump might not take it seriously.
Why is that you believe? Because there has been a lot of back and forth there, especially with the recent decisions that Donald Trump has been taken. What does it actually relay the message to the world? Because we have seen off late when the decisions have been taken up, there has been a situation of global economic, a shake-up that has also been witnessed.
Yeah, I mean, look, in the last couple of days, you've had a story where they managed to roll back some of these tariffs because Peter Navarro, the chief trade advisor to the president, happened to be out of the White House at that time. And the Treasury Secretary and the Commerce Secretary ran in and got Trump's attention and got him to roll back the tariffs. And so when you have a situation like that, anything can happen. This is an administration that doesn't really keep much control over anything. Just today, we've had more revelations that the defense secretary was using unsecure communications, for war activities in Yemen. This is after he was already chastised publicly for doing it the first time. So this is a group of people who are all over the map, I'm sad to say. And, I know it's not reassuring when you're on the receiving end of it, whether it's India or another country, that this is something that you just have to take into account.
Well, absolutely, because President Trump has been calling the Prime Minister of India as his very close friend, but also this full-on, trade war that escalated, especially between the United States and China, not to forget that China is also India's neighbor. Mr. Sajjanhar, when we speak of US is being India's top trading partner as well, and there is a two-way trade that surpasses, over $190 billion. So this relationship that was boosted after the Prime Minister of India paid a goodwill visit to Washington after Donald Trump's return to White House. And both leaders, however, have also pledged to more than double the bilateral trade to $500 billion.
Yeah, thank you very much. I think we are on a reasonably solid and sustained footing as far as bilateral ties are concerned, as far as trade is concerned. And, India has not taken, like some of the other countries, in terms of a very proactive stand in terms of responding to what Mr. Trump has been doing as far as the tariffs are concerned. We had quite at the beginning of President Trump's term, he came to office on the 20th of January. Our Prime Minister met him on the 13th of February. And we said we are going to, discuss and come to the first tranche of the bilateral trade agreement. And our talks are going on that. I think our talks are going satisfactorily. There have been visits from the United States. There have been visits from India. Mr. Piyush Goyal had gone. Now our Commerce Secretary is there. So I think our talks are going well on that front. So I don't think we need to be, particularly, anxious or nervous about it. It is a very important visit, I would say, because over the last 100 days, we have seen that Mr. Vance has got much greater profile and attention in terms of policy making and in terms of media pronouncements than many other vice presidents in the United States. Also, I think it is a very welcome move that we have within the first 100 days or so, the vice president visiting India. You would recall that, the former Vice President Kamala Harris, although she was of Indian origin, she did not visit India during her term. And so I think it is a very welcome move that Vice President J.D. Vance is here with Usha Vance and the children. So it is going to be a very important visit. We are going to, you see that J.D. Vance had gone to, whether it was to Europe, whether it was on NATO, whether it was on Munich Security Conference. He has been making policy pronouncements for the U.S. administration. So he's an important voice, and we need to take him as that. We have discussed so many things when Prime Minister Modi was in the United States, whether it's on trade, whether it's on defense, whether it's on geopolitics, whether it's on Indo-Pacific, it's on the Quad meeting, etc. So I think those are all aspects in substantive terms which are going to be
well,
taken
moreover,
up.
as far as a wholesome visit is also concerned, because if we remember, Prime Minister Narendra Modi during one of his podcasts had also talked about both of the leaders, whether be it President Trump or himself, they keep their respective countries first. So America first for President Donald Trump, India first for Prime Minister Narendra Modi, but focusing on another T, which is termination. Because Shinjoy, the concerns over the H-1B visas that has been long vital for Indian tech workers in the United States are mounting too. And what is being said that Indians account for nearly 70% of all H-1B visas last year with more than 200,000. But there is a lot of uncertainty over the re-entry that is prompting many of them to also, have a rethink of their visit or their stay.
In the United States, there are two views about it. First of all, there is one part of the government, particularly the Musk lobby, that really believes that there should be more Indians, there should be more good people, there should be more technical people, because the economy has to expand and you need Indian technical excellence. There are more engineers in India, though of varying quality, than in any country in the world. But some of these engineers from IIT and other places are the best in the world. So America wants the best of the best, and therefore they are very welcome, at least as far as a large part of the American administration is concerned. But then there is the other section, also called the MAGA lobby, which believes that AI doesn't necessarily mean artificial intelligence. It means another Indian. Now, these two different points of view have to be reconciled by the US government, particularly the president himself. Though the president has spoken about it, but these two views are there and they have to be sorted out. But yes, if this issue comes up, the other point relating to termination will certainly come up. And the big issue that hopefully will come up will relate to these aircraft engines. Because at this point, there has been a delay in the supply of 404 and 414 engines. And as a result, there is some disquiet in the defense establishment. But because India and America are such good friends and serious partners, then there is considerable hope that all these issues will get sorted out.
Well, hopefully we'll see what comes up as far as this visit is also concerned, Mr. Locker, because one factor that is something that the entire world is watching is that of the China factor. Now, with J.D. Vance's India visit also coming at a time where after the head of U.S. intelligence chief, Tulsi Gabbard, was also in New Delhi to bolster the Quad, the four-nation security grouping of U.S., India, Japan and Australia, which is also seen as a counterweight to China's growing clout.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, India has been a key part of the U.S. plans to counter China's growth in global trade and militarily. And I don't expect that to change. But you have other issues that could affect that. Something having to do with H-1B visas could alter that balance. The aircraft engines, the fact that, India is buying jets from other countries such as France. I mean, all that could come into that. What I worry about as an American is this administration is making a number of decisions that are not well considered, and they seem to be knee-jerk, and they're all over the map. And you're going to go to another country, the world's largest democracy, the world's most populous nation, and say, do this for me. And if I'm, Narendra Modi, I'm looking at it going, I don't know if I can really trust you guys. And that's sad to say.
And that is going to be one of the largest defense deals that would be signed as far as when it comes to the French minister who is expected also to be in India. Mr. Sajanhar, when we talk about Xi Jinping, the Chinese president, he's also been on a Southeast Asia charm offensive, promoting Beijing as a steadier and a more dependable economic ally than Washington.
Yeah, you're very right. I think the Chinese and Xi Jinping has also switched on the charm offensive. And of course, the ASEAN region is taken as a backyard as far as China is concerned. They had also identified the 3 countries that they visited, that Xi Jinping visited, which is Vietnam, Malaysia, and Cambodia. These were the countries which were slapped with the highest tariffs by Mr. Trump. So, there would have been some resonance as far as the overtures of Xi Jinping are concerned. But he's moved on to India also. And, I have not heard these words coming from China, from the Chinese ambassador, saying that, China would look very positively towards reducing the trade deficit that India has with China.
Yes.
This year it has gone up to $99 billion.
Yes.
It has always been like that. You would remember that even the first
And we've also been seeing, sorry to cut you short, Mr. Sajanhar, we're just running out of time there, but how, TikTok, something that America wanted to blacklist it first, is now on an overboard filled with Chinese, traders who want the people, the consumers there of America to get directly in touch with manufacturers, especially when it comes to luxury brands. But although J.D. Vance is primarily on a working visit, his trip that will also have a strong personal element, and the family will be touring the royal palaces of Jaipur and the iconic Taj Mahal as well. And of course, the Indian roots of Usha Vance is something that everybody knows. So thank you very much, Mr. Ray Locker, Mr. Sajanhar, for joining us here. To you, enjoy as well. We will be connected throughout. As far as the visit is now concerned, we're expecting the live pictures to come in soon. Heading into a short break for now.